Hi, welcome back to Chapter 2. Chapter 1, Goldie left Red and found her own home. Let's see what happens in Chapter 2. The sun is coming over the horizon as I wake up and stretch. It is becoming bright and shiny, and the air is warming. I can hear one of the strange birds I met on the other farm I lived at with Red calling, "Good morning," to everyone. I really need to find out what those birds are called. Somewhere there has to be someone who can teach me all the things I want to learn. Food is important, so I need to locate a reliable source. One thing I do know, food is critical. I learned that over the time of the ice. I think closer to the buildings, there may be something that will work for breakfast. Those birds have to have food, so I'll start my search there. The closer I came to the big building painted the color of my fur, strange smells begin to fill the air. I can also hear more sounds. The closest one is in a tidy pen with wire around the edge. The wire is shaped into little squares hooked to a post standing in the ground. Inside this pen there wasn't any grass growing, but there were square blocks of dried grass in a pile. On top of one of these piles was a creature so hard to describe. It has horns that arch backwards at the top. There is a short tail with straight hair. Some of them had a cluster of hair hanging off the chin. It hops on and off the square blocks of grass. I can only sit and stare at it. "What do you suppose this is?" I quietly ask. "That is a goat," I hear a soft voice answer from behind me. Startled, I turn around. "Oh, hello. I didn't hear anyone come up." I smiled in response. I knew this was a rabbit because I had met Jasper in the forest. "My name is Goldie. What's yours?" "I am called Missy. I live under the goat shed in a little spot where the shed meets the barn. It is safe there because the dog can't get in." "What is a shed and barn, Missy?" I inquire of her. Missy looked at me and didn't say anything. She got a confused look on her face and wiggled her nose. "How come you don't know what a barn is, Goldie? Why do you not know that that is a goat? Don't you have anyone to tell you?" I could tell Missy was confused at my question. I felt sad. I now realized how much I had missed by the death of my mother. Red and I had no one when she died. Neither of us had anyone to teach us anything. We had no other family or adults that we knew to help us, and so we did the best we could. We named things for what they looked like or did. It was that simple. We knew what each other meant and thought others would also know what we meant. I have a brother. He and I survived after Mama, Rusty, and Scooter died. He took care of me and kept us safe. Red taught me all he knows, but I want to know more, I proudly told her. "I have a lot to learn, I guess, but I will learn. Will you help me?" I felt eager to start learning and stood looking at her as I asked, "Where and what is a barn? What is that field of green plants behind us? What are the trees growing by the green field? What are the birds I hear? I have a brain full of questions waiting to be asked, Missy," I told her. "Well," Missy slowly answered. I could tell what she was thinking of the best way to start, and then simply said, "There is so much to tell you. How about we just walk around the farm while I tell you about everything we come to? I talk, and you listen. If you have a question, ask." So from that day on, part of each day we walked, she talked with me, listening and questions to better understand. I was amazed at all that she taught me. The square blocks of dry grass were hay bales. The humans cut alfalfa and grass fields, letting it dry in the hot summer sun. Then it was raked into long rows where a machine tied it into hay bales that were stored in the big red barn. When we were not walking and talking together, I was busy digging me a nest in the ground under the goat shed. I had a nice hole to start with and worked on digging in it, then pulling the dirt out of the opening to enlarge my nest area. Eventually, I had dug it large enough I could turn around in it very easily with a small room to store snacks in. Today is the day I will bring bedding in. It was going to be a long trip dragging a pine branch back, but I want this nest like the one I had built at the other farm. That one was perfect. So to start, I had to get a pine branch for the bottom. It is a sunny morning when I start out to the pine, and as I went past the strawberry patch, I looked at them. According to Missy, the berries are red when ready to eat, and when I stood up to look at the plants, it was so pretty. The field was full of little red spots of ripe berries. "Hey, the berries are red!" I shouted to no one. I have to tell Missy when I get home. I smell one, and this may be the most wonderful smell in the world. I lick it, but there really wasn't a taste. When I bit into it, I couldn't believe how delicious the taste of the juice is. So much juice ran down from the berry, I had to rub my chin on a leaf. It was amazing. Now I know why Missy told me about these berries. I wish I could give one to Red. He would love it. When I get done with my nest, I'm coming back for more and store them for the winter. I wonder how I can get them moved to my nest without smashing them. I wonder how he is getting along. Would he think that he might like to come live here if I could find him again? I remember the farm we lived on before we had to move. It seemed in my memory to be really dirty and messy. It was also scary. My farm is so tidy and clean. It is open and pretty with the animals in pens, and they are not dirty. I wonder if he would like it here. I got a big pine branch cut and was on my way back to my house. When I passed the strawberries, my humans were there. The noise they make, Missy had told me, was their talking. I liked to hide near them when they talked and laughed. The other humans before were quiet and scary. My humans are noisy, so I almost always know when they are near. I hide by the edge of the field under a part of the board fence. I didn't want them to see me, and I could safely listen to their voices. My humans have buckets with them and are busy putting the strawberries in there. So they like to eat these berries too. I'm going to have to hurry and get some stored before they take all of them, I tell myself. As I drag my branch past Missy's door, I shout, Missy, the berries are ripe. You had better hurry because the humans are out there picking them. Making the pine branch fit my nest took the rest of the day. It was more difficult to make the branches stay bouncy because the ends of the needle clusters I cut off stuck into the dirt. I found I had to lay branches down first, then the needles, and then my nest became bouncy. Next, I visited the goat pen and asked for some of the dried hay they like to stand on. They readily agreed for me to take all I wanted, so I made many trips dragging the sweet-smelling grass. It took a lot of trips to make it the way I wanted, but when I was done, my nest smelled good and was really soft. I think I will watch for more bedding to keep it fresh as the summer goes along. Maybe I can add some weed leaves for a new scent. My days were busy and full of friends. Missy and I continued our walks and talks. We talked about so many different things and the reason things happen like they do. I stored food when we were done with school for the day and had a large variety of things hidden in many places around the buildings. Always, though, I had to be on the lookout for the dog. I don't know what his name is. I don't think anyone does because whenever he is about, he is called the dog. He is fearsome and noisy and moves very fast. But whenever the humans talk to him, he smiles and wags his tail. Is it possible I can figure out a way to get close enough to touch his tail? If I think of a plan, I need to make sure Missy is there so she can see it to make others believe I really touched it. I have many friends at my home farm now. There's Missy, my best rabbit friend. Chuckles is the billy goat who likes to run at you with his head down to try to knock you over. It is a scary game, but I learned quickly if you wait just until he almost reaches you and then jump up and lightly touch his back, you win. Oscar is a rooster. His wives are called hens and all his babies are chicks. They are very cute as they follow the hen around. Oscar is very scary when he fluffs all his feathers out and hops at you with his toenails pointed. But if he leaves his babies alone, he likes to laugh. Then there's Homer the pig. He likes to roll in the mud and push dirt around with his nose. Homer lives by his parents, brothers, and sister. He doesn't do much, but he does let me sit on him to visit when he is lying on his side in the cool dirt. He likes telling about strange things he sees the humans do. I found out from Oscar that the bird I rode was a turkey. He isn't fond of them and doesn't think they are very smart, just really big. He also thinks he has the best voice too. Oscar likes to crow in the morning and thinks everyone else appreciates that he will wake us all up. I don't think anyone has told him we really don't like that. One evening I was by the chicken pen when he gathered his whole flock to listen as I told about my turkey ride and how Red reacted. Everyone was making so much noise, laughing and cackling so hard, The humans walked over to see what was going on. I hid in the weeds by the fence post so they didn't see me. After they walked away, my chicken friends started to laugh and cackle again, especially when I said, "Boy, that bird can run." That made them laugh even harder. Homer was lying in the mud one time I was out hopping around. His mother and brothers and sister were by him relaxing and called for me to stop and visit. We started talking about the cows in the pasture on the other side of the house and what they were good for. I told him about the cows from the other farm and how big they were. We discussed the possible size of the cows we have and what was their job. He really didn't know, just that they walked around all day eating. I began to share my cow riding story with them. Halfway through it, Homer's mother stood up with a really confused look on her face. "Why would you even think about riding a cow?" she asked me. Homer and the rest of the family were laughing so loud. He started rolling in the mud because he was laughing so hard. I don't know which he thought was funnier, his mother's question or me riding the cow. I'm not sure why I wrote it. It just seemed like the thing to do. Red didn't think it was wise either, but it sure was fun until that cow stood up. I was laughing as I finished my story. Homer's sister Holly said to me, "I would sure like to meet Red. Where does he live?" I'm not sure where Red is anymore. I know where he was when I left, but he may have left too. My humans were walking to the pen with feed buckets, so the whole pig family hollers, "See you, Goldie, it's supper time." I slipped away to the strawberry patch for a berry to eat. As I sat in the evening sun enjoying my berry, I thought of Red. I found I was talking and thinking about him more than when I first arrived here. Maybe I should journey back to find him and see if I can get him to come back with me. "Missy, are you home?" I called at her door. She came out and wiggled her nose. "Hi, what is on your mind?" "I'm thinking about Red a lot lately, and I want to go see if I can find him. I wanted to let you know that come morning, I'll be leaving. Maybe he will come back to meet all of you. I hope he does. I would like to show him my home and farm." And that is the end of chapter 2. So Goldie's going to go find Red. I hope you have enjoyed this chapter, and I'll see you again. Thanks for listening. Bye.